You're watching Lehigh Valley Sports Scene.
Good evening, everyone. Happy Monday. Hope everybody out there had a wonderful weekend. Alongside Gwen Begley, I'm Dan Freeman with lots to get to on tonight's program, so we're going to get right to it. We are down basically to the final week of the high school spring sports schedule. That means many teams trying to push their way into the playoffs, those that appear to be in league postseason contention, jockeying for playoff positioning, and I think nowhere are the waters more muddy than in high school boys volleyball.
Yeah, absolutely. There are 3 or so teams trying to battle for an EPC playoff berth. Freedom is one of those teams. They played Parkland over the weekend. The Trojans coming off back-to-back wins after a rare defeat at the hands of Easton. That loss, one of only 2 for Parkland as the season winds down. They have 4 matches left. This one against Freedom. The Patriots come into this one having won 9 straight matches. With the highlights, let's go to Sean Fritz.
A matchup between a pair of 2-loss teams within the East Penn Conference. Parkland and Freedom's second meeting of the season. The Trojans took the first 3 games to none back in late March, but this time it was Freedom coming out energized. They'd pick up the opening point on a kill from junior David Barnes and would carry that energy throughout the first set. They'd open it up on an 11-5 run before a Parkland timeout, but out of that break in the action, it was still Freedom dominating. They'd lead by as many as 11 points before securing the set victory, 25-18. We'd begin set 2, where it was the Trojans who'd need an answer. After trailing for the entirety of set 1, they'd earn the opening point of set 2 on the Freedom error. The beginning of this set was much more balanced. We'd see 4 ties in the score before Parkland would gain a slight advantage and would continue to extend it. They'd be up by as many as 8 in set 2, but 4 kills from JT Siggins helped Parkland tie the match at 1 set apiece with a 25-17 victory in set 2. If set number 3 was anything like the opening 2 sets, it was a race to see who could get the first lead after not one in-set lead change in either of the first 2. And here in set number 3, it was Parkland dominating to start this one. A couple of big plays, including an ace from junior Ben Ikebelli. The Trojans led set 3 once again by as many as 8 points, but Freedom would claw their way back to tie things up at 19 apiece. However, Parkland would still not trail in this at any point. They'd outscore Freedom 6-2 to close out the set, 25-21, up 2-1 in the match. Here in set 4, why not have the trend continue? 5 ties, but still no lead changes, as it was Parkland taking advantage midway through before fending off one final push by the Patriots. After dropping set number 1, Parkland does not trail again as they defeat Freedom 3-1.
Freedom came out in like a sprint and we were still jogging. I mean, Freedom, to their credit, they played out. They played really aggressive and kind of really caught us off guard. But for my guys to kind of let that go and move on in the second, third, and fourth sets, I couldn't be happier.
Well, we rallied back, and that's like the most important thing. We all came together as a collective unit, and I think we all performed very well.
Well, Parkland remains red hot. They've now won 10 of their last 11 since their first loss of the season, a rival Emmaus. And as luck would have it, they'll get another shot at the Green Hornets on Monday night, with both teams still feeling like there's a lot left to prove before heading into the postseason. You know, they're going to want to beat us as bad as we want to obviously get revenge on them on our first loss from them. So, you know, we can't come in there expecting, you know, just because they're down a couple guys or it's going to be a different lineup. Those guys are going to want to prove something. And, you know, my guys want to prove something too. On the scene at Parkland High School, Sean Fritz for 2 Sports.
Thanks, Sean. Now, the Patriots played again on Saturday against Quakertown Community, where they got back in the win column, earning the 3-set sweep. Freedom is back to EPC play tonight, hosting Bethlehem Catholic. Then it'll be Liberty to close out the regular season. Parkland, on the other hand, has 3 straight wins, improving to 12-2 with 3 left. Up next for the Trojans is Emmaus tonight. As Sean mentioned, the Hornets responsible for one of Parkland's only 2 losses this season. So not getting any clearer, this playoff picture at all.
No, it's not. Parkland and Freedom appear in the driver's seat to get one of those 4 EPC postseason bids, but still work to be done as the regular season winds into its final week. One thing